Hey everyone, Terry the Real Estate Guy here. Thanks for tuning in. I know your time is valuable. Hey, just when I thought the real estate market couldn't get any crazier, I'm hearing from my friend Kelsey down in Austin, Texas, that the market down there, houses are going 25K to 100K over asking on every house. In the Atlanta market, where I live, every asking price is simply a suggested starting point. Most houses, even fixer-uppers, are getting multiple offers and prices are going 5 to 25% over asking. Look, I've been in real estate as an agent and investor for almost 20 years, and I've been involved in over 1,200 transactions. I've never seen anything like this. Let me say one thing. This is absolutely not sustainable, but I think everyone already knows that, right? What brings everything to a screeching halt? What's gonna stop and calm the crazy that's happening in the real estate market today? Well, I believe it stems around three simple but hopeful words everybody in America, well, heck, the world, want to hear. First, I'm gonna tell you those words, and then I'm gonna show you why I believe it's true with real data. If you know anything about me, I'm a data junkie, a data nerd, and I need to dig into the numbers. But first, I wanna give a big shout out to my friend Kristina Smallhorn on YouTube for opening my mind to this concept. She made this passing comment to me a few weeks ago when I was a guest on her live stream, and it stuck with me, and I've kind of marinated on it for a month. So I dug into the data, and here's what I found. These three words, when uttered by the President of the United States, will send the real estate market into a wild tailspin. The three words you ask, can you guess? Can you guess what they are? Back to, that's right, normal. Back to normal. When President Biden stands up in front of the United States and says, it's okay for the country to proceed as we were before or go back to normal, you're not only going to see wild real estate, but I think you're going to see a wild travel boom the world has never seen as people are released from the confines of quarantining and working from home. Now, all that said, that's a big, bold claim, isn't it? But let me show you what's happening and why my predictions could be right on the money. And hey, maybe they won't. It's an educated guess, but I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month, so let's say January, there's 31 days in January, at least sometime in that month, there's a peak number of houses that are on the market. And this chart that I'm gonna show you, it's that number. Whatever day in January, it had the peak number, Zillow records that, and that's the peak number for the month. And I couldn't find that anywhere else. I thought it was a neat little chart. So let me dive in and show it to you, share my screen. And as you can see here, there's a natural rhythm, right? Natural rhythm is kind of up and down, rolling rhythm. Okay, these are homes available to buy during that month at any given time in the past couple of years. So you can see, starting out in January of 2018, you can see that it's like 1.27 million, and then in August of 18, it's 1.6 million, goes back down, normal real estate cyclical cycle, 1.3 million in February, then back up in August is typically the peak number of homes that are actually out there for sale, 1.6 million, and then you see it decline and then start to be normal, and then all of a sudden we hit March of 2020 and the pandemic, and things got a little crazy. The next chart I want to show you is from Redfin. Redfin has some great tools for us to research. But before I jump into this screen, if you like the content I'm bringing, would you do me a favor and hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel? That'll help other people that are interested in real estate videos like you are find me and bring some value to them as well. This Redfin chart, new listings that have hit the market, and it goes back to 2012. And again, as you can see, this shows you kind of the real estate heartbeat, I call it, right? The rise and fall of new listings. And as you can imagine, let me show you one more thing here. Let me go over to this chart. I basically exploded the view a little bit. So this is going from 2017 to 2021. And as you can see, the dips, right here. So that's December. That little circle, that's December of 2018. This is December of 2019. And this is December of 2020. Okay, now let's look at some more information here. You can see kind of this real estate heartbeat, right? And as you look at that heartbeat, if you look at the November 2018, that's there, and I'm gonna mark this here, and I'm gonna mark this here. And what you can notice about this is people tend to list their houses in a peak. There's always a peak. And it happens to be almost May of every year. Some years it's April, but a lot of times it's May. And when it's May, there's typically a period of record or peaking home sales that happen after that, and that would happen in June. So let's kind of look at the home sales. I've got that up here, pending sales, and you can see here's the peak, here's the peak, here's another peak over here. We're going to talk about this in a minute. So the peak here is typically going to be pending sales are going to be in May or June. And then one more thing to show you here. Here are actual home sales. These have actually sold. So we have home sales, we have pending sales, houses that have gone under contract and haven't closed yet, and then we have these new listings. And if you look, the heartbeat, see that? The heartbeat is almost the same. Pretty interesting, right? Buyers and sellers come together and give you this natural real estate rhythm every single year. Predictable, almost without fail. Almost without fail, except for 2020 when we have a crazy pandemic going on. Why are we having the issues that we're having in the housing market right now where houses are going absolutely bonkers? So we're gonna take a line and I'm gonna put this line right here, and I think my iPad will automatically make it straight. Okay, sure did. So if you look at this line, you can see that this peak that happened in July of 2020 during the pandemic, right? This is kind of what started all the craziness, is higher than anything we've had in home sales in the past couple of years. Not atypical for you to have a record month, but check it out. Look at the peak here. Another peak, right? Higher than almost every month in the past couple of years, 5 years in fact. All right, let's look at, let's see, this would be August. Let's take August and drag a line over there for August. And you can see August is in peak territory. So you see what's happening here is we're having peak months every single month on home sales. So when listings are down in record numbers and sales are setting peak months every month in a row, you have an incredible real estate problem, don't you? You know, a house is becoming like a piece of meat in a tank infested with sharks. The aggressiveness to which people are outbidding and fighting over houses is quite frankly out of control and not sustainable. Those three words, back to normal, means one thing: inventory is going to climb. And let me show you why I think it's already starting. I mean, we're at the very, very beginning. The last 3 months of new listings chart on Redfin. So let me bring that up for you. People typically don't list their house in December. Why? Well, there's 3 or 4 major holidays in December, lots of family gatherings, lots of events at schools and that sort of thing. So the only people that actually list their houses in December are the people that absolutely have to. You're not going to find somebody who wants to sell and can sell anytime listing their house in December. But look what happened in December 2019. There were 323,000 houses, almost 324,000 houses that were listed in December 2019. Now let's look at December 2020. That number actually went up. We went from approximately 320,000 houses to approximately 390,000 houses. That's a 70,000 house increase year over year. Why would there be a huge increase like that in the middle of a pandemic? Pent-up demand, right? Pent-up demand. People have been sitting in their houses. They wanted to move. Maybe they needed to move 16 months ago and the pandemic hits and all of a sudden they just decided they didn't move. And now they're moving. Or housing prices are way, way elevated and there are people like, I need to get some of that action right now because I know it's not going to last very long. I've been wanting to sell my house. This is a great time to sell my house and I'm going to sell because the houses are at peak prices. The interesting thing is though, look at November. November, about 491,000 houses went on the market, but November 2019, only 441. So 50,000 more houses, roughly 11, 12%, went back, increased our inventory in November 2020. Problem is we have more sales than we do the new inventory coming on the market. So the demand is higher than the supply coming into the chain. However, that supply is starting to build on itself. Now let's go back to this back to normal thing. Back to normal for many Americans, those words don't need to be uttered by the White House. I mean, let's think about it. We're Americans. Our country was founded on rebellious principles, right? They simply need to be felt. And how are people feeling right now? Well, in some states, the governors are loosening restrictions. Mask mandates are being released in some states, etc. Traffic in my area is starting to increase like it was pre-pandemic. Well, that's a little crazy, right? So it starts to feel a little bit more normal. And if people feel like we're getting back to normal, there are many of those types of people that will take action and act. which is why that little exercise I showed you with climbing inventory, I believe to be a little bit of that kind of rebellious principle kicking in, and people are like, I'm back to normal, I need to sell my house, I need to get it out there. Now, there's more opportunity coming. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of hidden inventory out there that represents pent-up supply that hasn't hit the market yet. You want to know one or two big ones? Probate courts. They basically process wills and paperwork for estates. And they've been shut down or greatly impacted by the pandemic. A lot of people are working from home and the governments, etc., and the judges aren't hearing the court cases. So there's this backlog of probate. Lots of people have passed away in the past year, obviously a lot because of COVID, but some by natural causes, and those probate courts have been shut down. So we don't have a lot of probate houses hitting the market. Does that make sense? I know that all the people that passed away because of COVID, it's tragic, of course, but it happened, and a lot of those people owned houses, and with probate courts having these backlogs, that inventory is going to hit the market at some point. Job transfers. I live in a market that's huge on job relocation transfers, and I'm not seeing a lot of job transfers right now. People want to relocate because of schools, having kids, all of the things, right? I'm sure there's a big baby boom that came from the early days of those pandemics, and we were all in lockdown. And I'm sure that people need more square footage now that those babies are starting to be born, or those kids are getting into elementary school age. And so parents, they want to be in the suburbs, they want to be where the good schools are, whatever those things are. And let's talk about the fifth thing that could increase inventory that I think is kind of hiding out there. Forbearance plans that can't be worked out. I will tell you, the government has done a great job of trying to keep people in their homes this time. They didn't do that back in 2009, 2010. But this time, they learned from their mistakes, and they're trying to keep people in their homes by working out these forbearance plans. But a significant portion of people that are in forbearance plans may not be able to get those worked out. Those houses are going to come on the market because people will sell, because at least right now, they have equity. We're not going to see all those crazy foreclosures like we did back in 2010, 2011. At least I don't think so. I believe that people are just going to put their houses on the market because they want to break that piggy bank in order to survive, right? That's what we do. If we have to survive, and we've been out of work, and we have a house with equity, and we haven't had to pay payments for a long time, well, I'm going to call a realtor, I'm going to call an investor, and I'm going to sell that house. I'm going to break that piggy bank. That is the hidden inventory that's out there. What I feel we have happening right now is this massive wave of consumerism. Very few people on the planet know about the Roaring 20s, but it was a period in American history that was responsible for consumerism in America. It brought in the Jazz Age, cars became mainstream, and women could vote finally. More people were moving into the cities than lived in farmland. And so the piece I want to bring up is the consumerism piece. We seem to, unfortunately, have widened the gap between those who have the means to buy a house and those who don't. And the ones that have a means to buy a house are engaging in widespread consumerism that's driving up prices because of low inventory and other things. I'm seeing that we're at the very beginning stages of inventory starting to increase. That said, sales are outpacing any inventory advantages right now, and may continue to do so for the next several months. But when this hidden inventory, this hidden supply hits the marketplace, it is going to make a dent into what's happening in the housing market. Hey, listen, I'm Terry, the real estate guy. I'm glad you chose to stick with me to the end of this video. And if you did, I really appreciate you. You're one of my favorite people of all time because you stuck with me to the end. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. And if you have any other questions, put them down below. If you disagree with me, put them down below. Love to hear you and engage in some dialogue with you. Thanks so much and have a great day.